I am super excited to introduce you to the 8 speakers from the Big Talk Academy Virtual Showcase Spring 2024 cohort. These incredible speakers entertain, educate, inspire, and invite you to think bigger and how you can have global impact by listening to their incredible stories. Enjoy. Naomi Vladeck is the award-winning author of Braving Creativity, artist who turned the scary, thrilling, messy path of change into courageous transformation. She is a certified transformational coach with a master's in performance studies from NYU. She is a lifelong nonprofit professional dedicated to championing independent artists. Please welcome to the stage, everyone, Naomi Vladeck, How to Brave Creativity and Turn Fear into Excitement.
It was the first day of school. My kids were excited. I took a picture of my daughter racing to the bus and of my son sitting on the gym floor with like 100 other 7-year-olds, and I sent them to my husband. I assumed that he got them, but I hadn't actually spoken to my husband in 2 days. After school, the kids and I gathered in the kitchen and I handed them their snacks, the usual goldfish crackers and apple slices, and they unpacked their backpacks. As I turned to let the dog in from the backyard, the phone rang. It was my father-in-law. We lost him. The tear that had begun 2 days earlier ripped open, and out of my body came a sound I didn't recognize, and I couldn't control it. Both of my kids were standing right there. For 2 years, while my husband battled his addiction, I tried to keep things under control and out of view from them. That was my job, to keep everyone happy and safe so that nothing would change. That's what I always believed. Change is a catalyst. Before that call, I was planning dinner. After, I don't know where. And I didn't know who I was either, because who I believed I was had also died. That's why change gets such a bad rap. A crisis, an ending, a loss of any kind makes a mark. But it's the time that follows, the space between the end of who we were and the beginning of who we will become next. That's the scary part, because in between the end of who we were and the beginning of who we will become, anything is possible, but nothing is certain. For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to fear change less, or at the very least, grow bigger than my fear. But how? Less than a year later, I was invited to tell a story at a storytelling event. The story I chose to tell was about my first sexual experience as a widow. Yeah. The date itself went according to plan, more or less. I wanted to be touched, and I achieved that goal. Check. But after the date, I couldn't wait to get home. I raced into my bed, slid under the covers in my coat and shoes, and finally released all the fear I had been holding and let in the pure, searing pain of absence that I really felt. That was the story that I told that night. As I walked off stage, I heard a little voice in me whisper, "Wow, that was brave." And I felt a shift. It was if I had stumbled onto a path with some mysterious purpose. We can't go around the tough stuff. But what if we believed that we could use the creative skills that we already have to create new synergies, new opportunities and insights that we could not have imagined we would find from where we are standing right now? Would you fear change less? In my 25 years of working with individual artists, I've seen thousands of artists create something from an empty space, page, or canvas in their work and lives. I interviewed Antoinette Wysocki, whose painting hand was crushed when a truck hit her head on. She believed that her vulnerability was worse than the pain she was already suffering, so she didn't ask for help. I spoke with Deepika Gua, who had a great job on paper, but who felt the very real suppression of the British patriarchy, which was soul destroying for her. She believed that she had no voice or that she ever would. Actor-writer Maddie Corman shared the devastation she felt when a crisis blew up her life and challenged the belief that she had to be great at everything she touched, which meant that she didn't try things that she thought she'd be bad at. Their terror was real, and they had to make a choice. They could either stay in the painful place they were, or they could allow change to change them. Spoiler alert, they changed. They found out that something else was more true than what they believed was possible before. For instance, when Antoinette got permission to go back in the studio, she invited her 10-year-old son to paint with her so she would know she was only playing. Play became her pathway to recovery and to a new body of work. In Deepika's darkest days, a virtual stranger, left a copy of The Artist's Way on her desk, and she said it felt like someone shattered a window open. Within a year, she had a scholarship to Harvard and wrote her first play. In Maddie's despair, she heard and sensed a burning desire to write. And even though she was still afraid of being bad, she was determined to take a risk. What she wrote became her first one-woman show and published play. Look, I know that fear can be relentless at times, but if we stay open to what scares us, we might just find that what excites us was there all along, just hiding behind what it feared the most. These women show us how to stay open and in that empty space, to play, to collaborate, to ask for help, and so much more. That is how we grow bigger than our fear. And that is what I want for you. When I stood at the mic 8 years ago, prepared to tell that story to a room full of strangers, things I hadn't even told my therapist, was I scared? Yeah, but I was also excited. My story and the stories of these 3 women and more became my first book, Braving Creativity. I've now racked up enough evidence of my own courage to believe my own new belief, that I have enough of everything I need to face my fear of separation and change, even the most final kind. I wish my husband could have grown bigger than his fear, and so did he. The next time you find yourself standing just off stage, facing a blank page or canvas in your own life and afraid to go any further, look closely. Can you sense an opportunity, an invitation emerging in the empty space before you that feels a little scary, but also exciting? If the answer is yes, brave creativity so that you might hear a version of, wow, that was brave, and know it to be true. Thank you.
Amazing, Naomi. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for this talk. It's so important. Your set is great. Your lighting's great. Your sound is great. When you said at the beginning, we lost him, and you paused, that was really important because we need that moment to wash over us. So that's a really, really great choreographic choice. The tempo that you're delivering this talk is really good because we need it. It's not easy to hear you talk about losing your husband in the way you did. So we need you to go slow. And so that is a really good choice. Anything is possible, but nothing is certain. The next time you deliver this talk, I want you to consider saying that sentence twice. Anything is possible, but nothing is certain, because we need to hear it. I felt like you were in the room with me. That's how effortless you delivered the content. Really beautiful. The way you delivered the date and your first sexual experience as a widow was very charming. It was a really charming way to use humor with the check. Really good. And the way when you brought humor into the talk was also timed perfectly. The importance of creating something from nothing and then moving into the case studies also was timed in your talk exceptionally well. Look, I know fear. I'm going to ask you to eliminate the word look. You don't need it. Also, when you say what I want for you, careful not to point at us. Open palm is more inviting. When you introduced your book, Braving Creativity, it's a really nice credibility builder and subtle pitch. I really liked how you did it, because now all of us are going to go buy your book, but it wasn't a sales pitch at all. It was a really beautiful aside. So nice work. And then when you brought your husband's memory back at the end, that was really, really important. And you have a great call to action, which is to look closer, and to invite us all to brave creativity. Beautiful, beautiful work. I'm so proud of you, Naomi.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for watching the Big Talk Academy Virtual Showcase Spring 2024 cohort. If you love these talks, definitely share in the comments so that we can fully support you. And if you want to get on my big stage, head over to thebigtalkacademy.com so we can make your dream of having impact a reality. Big love. Mwah.